Hello, everybody. Welcome to the weekly game plan. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. And we are back at it again here on this Sunday night. And we are back at it again. So let me know where you're tuning in from, which city, which country you're tuning in from, so that we can say hi to you. Put that in the chat. Welcome to the live stream. My name is Richard J, and I'm the co-founder and head trader here at Trading Rich, and happy to present to you the game plan for the week. So we have lots of stuff going on with news. The US and Israel attacked Iran, and it has turned into a war at this point in time. So we shall see how things play out. We're just going to wait for a few guys to join, and then we get started here with the game plan. So let me know which city you're tuning in from today and where you're piping in from. Edmonton, awesome. City of Champions. Also in Edmonton. Shout out to everyone from Edmonton. City of Champions. What about the rest? Where are you guys tuning in from? All right. Okay. All right. So good evening, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. I hope all is well with everyone and you guys ready for the live stream tonight. So on Friday night, there was news that the US and Israel combined have launched attacks on Iran. Prior to that, there was negotiations going on. I believe it was in Switzerland about trying to come into an agreement on the whole Iran nuclear deal situation. And it looks like the talks did not work out. So I think this is the second time that they've had talks. The first time was when the US bombed the Iran nuclear sites. So there was talks going on, and all of a sudden they started bombing there. And now the same thing has happened right now. So right now there's a lot of chaos in the Middle East. So there are strikes which were launched on Friday, ended up killing some Iranian executives and leaders, including the supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei. So so there's been so Iran had to retaliate. Iran retaliated by bombing US bases in the Middle East. So areas like Bahrain, UAE, and also Qatar, where the US forces were launching missiles from. So they attacked those places. So it's like in a mess right now. They also retaliated on some buildings in Israel as well. And I had reports that some of the strikes from the US and Israel attacked a school. So there's a lot of casualties here. US have had some casualties in the army, and also a lot of innocent people have been killed. So, I mean, although we are here to talk about the money game plan, humanity is more important than that. So our heart goes to the guys the innocent people that have lost their lives in this kind of war, especially those that were more or less minding their business, and all of a sudden these strikes happen, right? Both for the from the Iranians, the US people, and those also in Israel as well. So that's the most important thing, because at the end of the day, we are looking to make money, but humanity is more important. Okay, so while we working towards capitalizing on the situation, we also have to remember the innocent people in our prayers in the Middle East. We hope that the situation is brought under control, cooler heads prevail, and this does not escalate and become something that is gets more people dead. So we should see how things work out in the coming days here and weeks. And I believe that. So when it comes to as a student of politics and foreign policy, I know the strength of the U.S. Army. I mean, like all over the world, the U.S. Army is one of the strongest in the world, right? And Iran has like the BRICS countries. Iran is part of them. And they are backed by Russia and China. And in terms of military might and strength, the US is the number one in the world, and I don't think that Russia right now has the capabilities to join Iran. Actually, Russia has been taking Iranian drones to fight in Ukraine, so I don't think their hands are tied. I don't think they can do much. China will. I don't think China has the appetite to join the war like that. They don't. That's not like their business, but I mean they could support, but that's not their business. So so when it comes to, so I don't think that Iran on its own can fight Israel and US. So at some point, cooler heads will prevail, and there's going to be peace. So the US game plan, according to President Trump, is that they want regime change. So regime change is something that we've seen based on history, that anytime it has happened in the Middle East, it has led to more bloodshed and chaos, right? So it didn't work in Iraq, it didn't work in Afghanistan, it didn't work in Libya. I don't think it's going to work in Iran. So again, I know so that kind of change and stuff like that, that's going to cause a lot of issues, because the current Iranian regime have been there for 40 something years. I don't think they're not just going to live like that without a fight, right? So this can get crazy and chaotic. So I hope that cooler heads prevail and there's peace within the shortest possible time. Okay, so now let's go into the game plan for the week. Let's look at what happened last week in terms of week in review, because we need to know what happened last week, and then we can use that to gauge to see what is happening in the upcoming week here. So last week on Monday, so on Friday, the Supreme Court, the Friday before, the Supreme Court struck down the tariffs, the Trump tariffs, and then they said it was unconstitutional. Okay, so the Trump administration reacted by imposing, I believe initially it was 10%. Global tariffs on every country, and then later on they changed it to 15%, right? So that was something that that was something that happened where it caused, so that caused the market to be red on Monday, and then from there what happened was that we got that gap down in the market on Monday. And then that was to counter the report from the tariffs, right? Yeah. So anytime there's tariffs, it's not a good thing. It causes inflation and stuff like that. So there was that reaction from the market. And then what happened was that on Wednesday we got a gap up, and then it held true. And we had a positive reaction to the State of the Union address by President Trump. And then on Thursday, we got Wednesday night, we got NVIDIA earnings, and that earnings, it popped like Nvidia popped initially and then it sold off afterwards, sold off massively. So it's like it was like a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event, right? And then anytime Nvidia, which is the number one company right now, sells off, we know that the market is also going to sell off. As they say on Wall Street, as the semis goes, so does the market. And then on Friday, we got the PPI, which was higher than expected. And that caused the market to start in red. And also, we saw financials go down, the financial sector go down due to worries on AI concerns, and also private credit concerns. And then on Friday night, US and Israel launched strike on Iran, and that caused and it went into the weekend, and the war escalated, and that led to the death of the Iran supreme leader, right? So right now the futures market is red, but I think by tomorrow, by the end of the day tomorrow, we could go green, right? Because like I think the market is just going to brush it off and move it aside, as long as there are no attacks on US mainland. That is not going to be a big deal. It's just a way where it causes panic and people sell, and then they move the market up, right? So as technical analysis traders, we are going to review this today, and I'm going to show you guys what my game plan is. So it doesn't really matter if the market is red or green or whatever they want to do, they can do it. It doesn't really matter. We are going to really trade it to based on the technicals. So as a technical analysis trader, you focus on the technicals, not the news, not the soundbite, not the noise, right? Because what we've seen is that historically, anytime there's a war or any kind of war, Middle East or even Ukraine or anything like that, what happens usually is that the initial reaction is bearish for a short term, and then medium to long term, it turns into a bullish situation, right? So we saw that when Russia invaded Ukraine. We saw that when the US attacked Iran, first attacking their nuclear sites. We saw that happen, and then the market switched green, right? So I will not be surprised if we see something similar happen tomorrow, right? Okay, so that's what I'm watching, and I'm going to discuss that in this game plan. Okay. The next thing is that we also review what happened last week in terms of the indices and then the various sectors. So the S&P 500 closed red, Nasdaq slightly green. Nasdaq was a little bit stronger, and then the Russell closed red as well. And then we had technology, which usually is the driver of the entire market, which usually carries the market, was red. So anytime technology is red like that, is going to affect the S&P 500, and to a large extent this one. But this one had some other stocks that were a little bit resilient, and that caused it to close green. And then we have financials was down due to fears of private credit, and also fears of AI. And then healthcare is up. So we are going to discuss the healthcare ETF today, because healthcare ETF is looking to break out, and that is going to lift a number of healthcare names. And one of them we are going to discuss, two of them we are going to discuss that in tonight's live stream here. And we have discretionary green. We have staples, consumer staples green as well. Energy has been one of the best performing assets this year, and those that are in our community, I had mentioned it several times that energy was going to be one of the best performing, and so far it's living up to expectation. And with this attack on Iran, is going to cause it to even go higher, right? So the XLE, which is the ETF that tracks the energy sector, has had an 11-week green streak so far. So that tells you how strong the energy sector has been. Last year, it did not really perform well, but this year it's been doing really, really well so far. And there are rumors that Iran is looking to close the Strait of Hormuz, where oil passes through, right? 20% of the world's global oil passes through that area. And also the insurance companies that insure those ships have mentioned that they've told their clients that they've warned them not to go through that area, because if they go through there and something happens, they are not going to cover the insurance, right? So So most oil and supply chain ships passing through that area have been paused so far. So that is also going to have an effect on the oil market. So OPEC, that's the organizations that control, govern like oil supply and demand in the world, have increased production. The reason why they are doing that is to make sure that they can fight the shock from the Middle East war, right? So that it doesn't cause excessive demand, because when there's more supply, demand is going to go down, and that reduces the price of oil, right? Because anytime oil prices go up, it affects inflation. So those are the reasons why the OPEC are increasing their production. Bonds were up. US 10-year yield was down, and VIX was also down. Gold and silver were up, and then oil was up as usual, based on the XLE being green as well. Okay, so now let's go into the upcoming earnings. Like what earnings are we looking at, right? Are we looking at so far? So far, what we are looking at is that we are looking at a few earnings coming up into the week here. We have Rigetti. It's what's it called? Is a quantum computing stock. IonQ had good earnings, so I believe that Rigetti too might have good earnings. Who knows? And so on Monday we have ASTS. So the ones I'm watching on Monday is ASTS. ASTS is a space company. Yeah, so that company, I'm going to be watching its performance here, and then and then also Target as well. Target on Tuesday, and then let's see here. Target on Tuesday, and then Wednesday we have Rigetti. Rigetti is a quantum computing company, and Broadcom. Broadcom is a semiconductor company, right? So that's something that I'm going to be watching closely as well. Then we have Costco. Costco is a consumer like kind of stock, consumer staples kind of stock. So that is something that I'm also going to watch, because anytime there's anytime there's confusion in the market, and also times of uncertainty and economic hardship, people gravitate to stocks like Costco, right? Because Costco is, I mean, if there's a recession, you have to eat, right? So it doesn't really matter. You have to still go buy food to eat. So Costco is a stock that I'm going to watch. I believe they're going to do well in their earnings, and that's also, these are the things that I'm going to be on Friday. I don't really have any. There's all these companies, I don't even know them, and yeah. So these are the ones I'm going to be watching closely. And also, before I forget, CrowdStrike. Yeah. So softwares have been under attack. I even did a video in the video section of this channel called Software Armageddon, right? So softwares have been selling off, and I believe that cyber. So the reason why softwares have been selling off is that because softwares, like, investors are thinking that AI is going to replace certain softwares, right? There's some truth to it, but I don't think that all of them are going to be replaced, right? Something like cybersecurity companies like CrowdStrike are going to be there, because anything to do with technology, AI, you are going to get a cybersecurity component, right? You are going to get a cyber security component. So whatever happens, cybersecurity is going to be important, right? So I think that some of these stocks have been oversold, and I believe that they are due for a bounce. So CrowdStrike is a high quality name, right? And I believe that we shall see how the earnings works out this week here. We will review the chart to see where it's at, and see where price is going from there. Okay. All right. So I'm going to be watching that earnings as well. Okay, so let's go into the charts, and let me show you guys what I'm looking at this week. So we start with the SPY. So SPY is the S&P 500 ETF, right? So what I'm watching is let me take off these lines. I'm watching the 100 SMA, right? This 100 SMA here, I'm watching the 100 SMA. So for the longest time, this hasn't broken. and it has tested it the 7th time. It couldn't get the job done on Friday. I believe that we are going to open. So let me see where the futures market is trading. Looks like the futures market is pushing up so far. It could open the day green. You never know. So that is something that is a possibility. So here I have the SPY. The ES is down by 4 points. So 4 points means that if this closed here, we'll be opening somewhere here. So 4 minus let me put this back. So 4 minus, so this is where we closed on what was it called, on Friday, right? And if you're down by 4 points, we'll be opening somewhere here. So I will not be surprised if the bulls defend this 100 SMA level, right? But as long as, so what I'm looking at is that if the daily candle closes below this 100 SMA level, you see this here, if the daily candle closes here, then that's going to be trouble for the bulls, right? So I believe what they're going to do tomorrow is that they're going to do everything in their power to defend that level. But if it fails, so what happens is that the moment we trade below here, this is going to act as resistance because it's been support since May, right? It has held a strong support since May. And when it breaks, it's going to act as resistance. And it's not going to be easy to just break it and remount it. So tomorrow's action is going to be important. And I believe that it's going to be a big fight between the bulls and the bears. And we shall see how that plays out. So what I'm watching is over here. If we gap down, if depending on what happens tomorrow, if we trading below this 681, then I'm going to look to short the SPY over here if it's unable to remount the 100 SMA, right, to the downside. And if that happens, we are going to be targeting we're going to target this area, 677, 676, and then these are the other areas, right? And in terms of, because we are in the new month, I'll also start with the monthly chart. So over here on the monthly chart, we can clearly see that we got the first we got a second red month. The last time was November, and here we got this one here in February, right? So if we get another red month, then that means that we are heading down. Okay, so if you look at this looks like a rounding top. So if you look at this, if you put a circle here, you can clearly see, or even let's go to you can clearly see that this is a rounding top, right? So there's a possibility that we can have a red month here and this goes to this area, right? So going into this, so you see here, if you put the circle here, you can clearly see that this is what? A rounding top. The top is rounding to the downside, right? So based on that, we are going to position ourselves strategically based on what the market gives us, right? So you trade with the market, not your feelings, right? Trade with price action, not your feelings. So here, this 681 is going to be critical. So that's all I'm going to be watching tomorrow, right? Where is the daily candle trading at pre-market, right? Where is it trading during the day? And that is going to form my trade thesis as we move forward, okay? But if the bulls are able to break that, so also there's this trend line here. This is from August 1st. This has been holding so far, and depending on where price opens up tomorrow, if it opens even here, it can have room to push up again. So that is what I'm going to be watching tomorrow to be able to trade the markets. But I believe that the market is due for a correction. It's long overdue, and the correction will eventually come at some point, right? I mean, the Iran war and stuff like that, that is going to cause fear in the market, but at some point it's just going to go away and we are going to go back to real issues, okay? Real issues that are affecting the market in terms of, Iran war is a real issue, but real issue as in based on the US economy, private credit, those kinds of things, unemployment, inflation, those kinds of things are things that are going to move the market, right? So we shall see how things work out. And we are going to look to trade this accordingly, right? So the next thing I'm going to watch is the VIX, right? VIX is a volatility index. So far, the VIX has been unable to break this yellow downsloping trend line, right? So tomorrow, with the volatility, if it can gap up above here, if the VIX can trade above this $23 level, it has room to squeeze to 28, right? So who knows what's going to cause it? We shall see how things work out tomorrow in the VIX. So once the VIX is up, typically the market is down. Okay, so it has an inverse correlation. And then the QQQ. So QQQ Nasdaq. Let me see where the futures market is trading now with the Nasdaq. Nasdaq. NQ. Where are you? NQ. So the NQ was down by like 200 points. Now it's up. It's still red, but it's just down by let's approximate it to 160. So maybe 4 points. So 4 points away from here is going to be 4 points from here is going to be around here, below this 601, somewhere here. So if the futures market is open, if the market is open right now, we are going to open somewhere here, and that's going to be critical. That's like a bottom of this bear flag, right? So if we get a red candle that breaks this, then we have broken this bear flag. So here, this is your flagpole. This is the bear flag. So break of this is going to send it down. So if the market is open right now, we are going to have a red candle that is trading somewhere here, right? Tiny red candle that is trading somewhere here, maybe somewhere here, just somewhere here. So something like that. So it's going to be here, and then we shall see if this is going to rebound. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this area as a resistance zone. So perhaps price can come bump its head into this and then continue to sell off, right? If it rebounds here, then we will take a long to the upside and target the Friday's high, right? Target Friday's high. So that's how I'm going to play this tomorrow. Okay. All right. So next thing that I'm going to watch is that I'm also going to watch the DIA, right? DIA actually. So let's go to the monthly for QQQ first, just to take a look at it. So if you look at the QQQ monthly, you can clearly see that this is scaling down, right? And this here, we got the first month that is above average sell-off, right? So the white line here is average sell-off, right? And above it is above average. So this is like this really weak. And I think it's going to be controlled by the semiconductors, right? As the semis go, so does the market. We are going to look at the SMH ETF and see how the semiconductors are doing. If the semiconductors crack, then we are going to see QQQ as well crack. So we shall see how that plays out. But this here is a classic thing showing you that, okay, we are going down, right? This is heading down. It's showing you that this is heading down. Look at it. So this is a rounding top. The top is rounded, and eventually it's going to come down. We shall see how things work out this month. Also, March is a seasonally weak month for the market. Typically, it's bearish in nature. So I believe that we are going to get that correction this month. Most likely depends on what happens in the charts, right? For instance, for SPY, it needs to hold that 100 SMA if it's to make a recovery. If it fails, then the floodgates is going to open. All right. Same thing applies to the QQQ. If it breaks below this bear flag, if it breaks below the bear flag, then it means that we are going to head down. The floodgates are going to open. So that's how I'm going to look to play this. Like, keeping it simple. I'll let the chart guide me. No emotions, no narratives and craziness going on. Just follow the charts. Whatever it says, we take the trade, and then we capitalize on it. Okay. Next, DIA. So DIA is an interesting one because DIA has broken below a critical trend line, right? It's, all the other indices and ETFs have broken below the April trend line. This one finally did it last week, and it put in a head and shoulders pattern. If you go to the monthly, you can clearly see here, this is the monthly. You can see that this is called a gravestone doji candle, and this candle here signifies it tells you that the party is over, right? The party is over, and the RSI is showing that this is, I believe, it's overbought. Let me check. Let me add the RSI relative strength index. So it's at 72, which is high. So it's due for a pullback, right, is due for a pullback to the downside. So I'll not be surprised to see that by the end of this month, we see the Dow putting its first red. So here, look at this. This is interesting. This is showing green here, but here we see that this is red. So the smart money is selling into using people as exit liquidity, right? And this is due for a pullback. Okay, this is due for a pullback. And if you check the weekly, it has already broken this, meaning that it's time for it to go down because all this time it's been holding. It's done that before. We shall see what happens here this week. If this week you get a green candle, let's say you get a green candle like this. If you see here, like so here, this is what is called pattern recognition, right? This broke, you see the teal blue line? Watch out for the teal blue line, the CN colored line. That is the 9 EMA, 9-week exponential moving average. You see every single time it has all these red candles. And what does it do? It gets a green candle. So I will not be surprised if what we've seen here happens again here, right? We get something like this, like a green candle that does this, right? Green candle that does this, right? You get a green candle that closes the week green and it reverses this stuff. So that's a possibility. So it's something that I'm going to be watching while also looking at the downside as well. Okay. So let me go back to the so here we shall see how this works out. So if we break below this level, so this is a critical level here, this 486, then we are going to head down to the 100 SMA here on the daily. And with that, you've seen that if I take off the lines, you see that this has held it here once, twice, and then maybe it's going to hold it here and then bounce. Okay, so I'm going to be watching the DIA to see how it performs and how it behaves. The DIA is usually more resilient than the SPY and the QQQ. So we shall see how that transpires this week. Okay. All right. So next one is IWM. The Russell 2000 ETF. So the IWM is has been, it has been selling here. It sold off last week. And so far, this is where we are at right now with the IWM. So we shall see if it holds this 50 SMA on the daily, right? So you see here, price has come here, bounce, 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 right? So it could do another bounce. So we shall see how that plays out. So if it breaks it, we are coming here, right? And that will mean that the general market itself is weak. So SPY and the QQQ are going to lead the way, including the DIA. If they start selling, IWM has no choice. It's also going to sell. Okay, so this red line is going to be critical. It must hold support. But you see that every single time it has come here, it got a bounce. 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 Are we going to get the same bounce? Who knows, right? You just have to set your target. So here is simple. Simple and straightforward. No confusion, right? So break below here will signal that we are going down and we'll head to the 100, right? So anything below here, you can look to short this. As long as it doesn't break above here, you hold it and ride it to the downside. It's as simple as that, right? But if this holds, then you can ride it to the upside and get the reversal and put your stop below this 50 SMA here. All right. Okay. So let's look at Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin gave us a signal on what is about to happen in the market. You see that even though the whole Iran thing happened, Bitcoin did not really do much, right? It stabilized, right? Again, one of the reasons is that Bitcoin has sold off a lot. So, the thing is already oversold. How far can it go, kind of thing, right? So are they going to sell it further unless something catastrophic happens? I'm seeing that Bitcoin is holding so far. If you go to the daily chart, you can see that it is consolidating, right? So Bitcoin is consolidating here. And what I see here is that I see this forming. So here we have, this is your low. This is your higher low. This is your other higher low. So we are forming an uptrend, right? So the lows are getting higher, meaning that we are forming an uptrend. So what needs to happen to Bitcoin is that Bitcoin needs to find a way to hold this uptrend here. And then over here, Bitcoin needs to find a way to break out of this. If it can do so, it's most likely to do that. If it can do so, then it's going to push up and we are going to get to 70,000. So 70,000 is the first target, and next target is going to be 72, and then somewhere here at the 50 SMA, right? So 50 EMA. So with that in mind, I'm going to be positioning myself to target setting crypto related stocks, right? We already have some of them in our swing trading service, but we are building a position, right? So these type of things, you need to be patient, right? Build a position, and then when you get that snap, when you get that squeeze, you take your profit and then you capitalize on it, and you can hold runners depending on how things work out. So that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. But however, if we break below this mini trend line, obviously we are going to head down, right? So this, at least you can get a pop into this area to where the red line is. I'll put a red line here, at least, right? I'm expecting a move to at least this area, right? So because of that, I'm going to be positioning myself with certain crypto related names, okay? So that's what I'm going to check out here. Let me check Ethereum. Ethereum, so far, let me check Ethereum. I've not checked it in a while. So Ethereum is also doing the same thing that Bitcoin is doing, right? So it's so this is the daily chart here, and so far it's holding this area. So Ethereum needs to find a way to remount this critical level here at 2,157, right? If it can do that, then it's also going to push to the 50 SMA as well, okay? 50 SMA. So the push is to here, 50 SMA. And that's going to cause stocks like Coinbase. You can get things like MicroStrategy, or even like things like Ethereum, the Ethereum ETF itself, to push up, okay? And let's check Solana. Not checked it in a while. Solana, where are you? Solana. So we have Solana here. Let me take this off. Clear drawings. Let me go to the weekly and see what Solana is doing. Okay, perfect. So Solana here, Solana looks like it has this. At first glance, it looks like it has this here, this stuff going down here. See this? It's like a falling wedge pattern, right? So it's holding this area. So here I can draw a parallel channel. Where's my parallel channel to? Here, this one. So let me take this off. So that's what I see with Solana, right? Solana. I think it's going to form a beautiful parallel channel. Beautiful parallel channel here, this one. So yeah. So yeah, that's what I see here. So we can extend this just a little bit. Oh, sorry, stuff here is just just misbehaving. So here, this is like this, right? So what do I see? I see here that here has been acting as support. This used to be resistance, but here is support, right? So based on what we've seen here, this can do something like this. Boom, 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 and come to the 50% range. So the parallel channel, we have the 50% range. That's going to act as resistance. And then if it breaks it, it's going to go up. So I will not be surprised to see a rally in Solana if Bitcoin rallies to the 50. So Solana too might do the same thing and come somewhere here. So crypto might give us like that kind of a pop, right? Maybe 20%, 25% move. So that way you just have to position and capitalize on the move. So Solana is due for a bounce. However, if it breaks below here, it's going to head down. But as long as it doesn't do that, it has room to push up. Okay. All right. So let me look at gold and silver. What's happening to them? Gold and silver. Gold. Boom. Gold is up. All right, let's see gold here. So gold is, let me see, it's a weekly. Let's look at the daily. So the daily chart is showing green, but it has come to this resistance level here, is pulling back. So we shall see how it behaves. So gold is up. The same thing applies to silver. So I believe that gold will eventually get to all-time highs. And if it can break above this 5,407 area is going to push up and make all-time highs and new all-time highs, right? So, but once it gets here, you just have to be careful, and then this can put in like a double top and start going down. But I believe that gold has another move to the upside coming, and then after some time is now going to pull back. Maybe I think month of March, with the market being weak, gold is going to rally, and then we might get like the sell in April, right? April going, then we get the sell in gold and silver. So we see how that plays out. And let's check out silver. Silver as well. Silver looking strong as well. So silver is showing over here, is showing like it's pulling back, but it's at 93. Silver here has this inverted and shoulders pattern, and then it's looking to break out of this level. So if silver can break out of this level here, it's going to squeeze to the upside. Because if you look at if you do the what's the name? Oh, sorry, that's not what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for here. That's what I'm looking. Let me just go to the weekly time frame. Then I'm going to do the volume profile. Let me go to the daily. So if you look at this volume profile here, you can see that there's lots of volume here. There's a volume gap here, volume deficiency over here. So once price breaks there, it can squeeze to the upside, and it's going to make new new all-time highs and break out there. So similar to gold, is going to do well. Okay, so let me also check crude oil. Let's go to futures. Check out crude oil. What's the ticker for crude oil? Crude oil. I don't really trade crude oil, but let's check it out here. Crude oil futures. Look at this. So here it's looking like it's selling off here. So it went up and it's selling. So they are buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing. But oil is up. Oil is up by 70. You see the big gap up. So eventually we are going to get that sell to the downside, and it's going to be buy the rumor, sell the news. That's typical oil behavior, right? It can sell off. So if money is moving from oil, then it's going to go into the stock market, like tech stocks and stuff like that. Okay. All right. So now that I've gone through all this, let's start with. So we did some crypto. So let's start with one of my tickers here for crypto. One of them is Coinbase. Let's check out Coinbase. So Coinbase is due for a breakout, right? It started in by, last week. It just, things were not just looking good here in the market. So it pulled back. But I think like Coinbase is due for a breakout. So full disclosure, I have a position on Coinbase, and this is expiring in April. I'm going to continue adding to my position because based on the analysis that I've given so far with Bitcoin and stuff. So Coinbase is a crypto exchange. So anytime crypto or Bitcoin is up, this stock is going to go up, right? So on Friday, it's still closed green on Friday when the general market was red. So it's showing signs of strength. And if you look at this, Coinbase, like, let me check here. I think I'm seeing a trend line here. Okay, perfect. So it worked out. So I'm seeing a trend line here. So I think that's where it stopped out, right? So if Coinbase can break out of this trend line, right? Obviously, because the market is red and things, it might open red. But as long as it stays here, it can put in like a bull flag, right? Put in a bull flag like this, and then we get that breakout, right? Put in here, put in a bull flag, and then we can get a breakout to the upside. We get a green candle like this, right? Green candle that pushes up. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to sell into any dips. I'm expecting it to come here to possibly fill the gap later, but no worries. That's natural movement of stocks. It has to, like, if there's a gap, the gap has to fill sometime in the future. So if it comes here, I'm going to add to my position, and then from there it's going to reverse, and we are going to take it up, right? Hopefully it doesn't come here, but if it comes, no problem. I'm prepared for it. Add to the position, and then we'll ride it to the upside. So here we have this upsloping trend line here. So as long as this holds, so any bounces to this area, we see that price is going to bounce there, and we're going to add to the position and push it up. Okay, but I believe that crypto is due for like some kind of bounce, 20% bounce, 15% bounce, and that should take us. So if I can get Coinbase to move from where it is now, 175 to 200 and something, that is going to be a big win. That's going to be a big win. You see here, this has struggled to break it. Last time it came here, it sold off significantly, right? So my main target is targeting where the red line is. So I'll take off all the lines and show you what I'm in here. So you see that last time price came here, you see this sold. So that's all. So when you get the move, you must pay yourself here, right? And then anything that happens after that is a cherry on the cake, right? This is like a bonus, right? But so if I can get that move, that'll be fantastic. That'll be fantastic, right? So that's what I'm looking at for Coinbase. Okay. So Coinbase is one of my watch for this week. And also I'm watching next ticker that I'm going to be watching is going to be, I believe that the healthcare ETF is due for a breakout, XLV. SLV is due for a breakout. So this week I'm going to be watching that ETF for a breakout, and then we shall see how that works out. So the XLV is due for a breakout. So here XLV, take this out. So XLV here is at, this was the all-time high. It broke out of it, and then look at where it is now, right? So if tomorrow we're able to clear this area, so I'll mark this area as currently showing like a supply zone. If we can clear this supply zone, then we shall see SLV breakout, and it can come to 166 area, right? So XLV, which is the healthcare ETF, I'm going to be watching it, right? So if healthcare ETF is up, then we are going to check. Let's check Yahoo Finance to see what's the top holdings of that. So we'll go to Yahoo Finance. Yahoo Finance. Okay. Check out XLV. Okay. XLV. Check out SLV. And check out SLV here. Let's see what are the holdings. SLV holdings. So right here we have healthcare 100%. You have Eli Lilly, we have Johnson & Johnson, we have UNH. So I'm targeting this UNH here. Let's check out. So Johnson & Johnson, I'll show you the chart. The chart looks like a tech stock or a semiconductor stock. It's crazy. So that's why this ETF is going up. Johnson & Johnson, look at it. Holy cow, look at that. If I blocked the ticker and I showed you this, you might have thought that that's like a semiconductor stock, but this is a healthcare stock, right? And look at this, is ripping. So that's one of the reasons why we have seen this ETF do well. And if you check Eli Lilly is always up, right? Eli Lilly is a top-notch pharmaceutical company, right? So look at it, that one is up. So my ticker that I'm going to be watching here is UNH. So for UNH, what I've done is that I have a position on it. That's a different type of position, like advanced option play. So what I'm doing is that because this has put in an investor and shoulders, what I've done is that I have sold a cash secure put and collected premium on this because I have feeling this is going to go up. So my cash secure put is here, somewhere here, and I'm collecting premium from these guys because I see that this is going to go up. So I will just take their premium and continue taking it until I get the price that I want, right? So I'm not looking to buy this now, but I'm going to trade it using naked options to the upside. So this has put in an investor and shoulders pattern. So if it can break here, If it can break this CN colored line, it's going to push up to this area. So my target is for me to get a move from here to here, right? 15% in the next couple of days or weeks should be fine, right? So that's how I'm looking to play this. So this is a very nice setup here for UNH. So it's going to be one of my main watch for this week here in terms of a day trading kind of setup. Okay. And usually healthcare, when there's war and stuff, it doesn't really care about that. It just does its own thing. So I'm pretty sure that you are going to be seeing this stock green tomorrow. So next one that I'm watching in the healthcare space is mRNA, right? mRNA. So mRNA is the vaccine, right? So during COVID, we had the Moderna vaccine. This is one of them, right? So, I mean, there are rumors that there's going to be another kind of virus coming up in October. I don't know when. Again, I hope it doesn't happen because nobody wants to do COVID 2.0. That's not good, right? But if that's to happen, then you are going to see stocks like mRNA rally. And mRNA looks like some people know something that we don't know. And we are seeing mRNA do well. It's so far pushing up so far. So we are seeing mRNA is pushing up here and pushing to the upside. So here we have mRNA here looking to break out. So mRNA is a stock that in the swing trading service, we're holding it as we have a long-term swing trade on this. And I believe that this is due for a breakout. So this is already trading in a deep value zone here. So this is due for a big move to the upside. So don't be surprised to see mRNA trading at $60 or higher by the end of this week here. And we shall see how that plays out. So I'm watching mRNA again, also in the healthcare space. Okay. Then next one is I have a number of small cap stocks that I'm watching as well. Before then, let me go to software, IGV. So IGV is the software ETF. And this ETF here, software have been selling off a lot. And I think it's oversold and, it's due for a bounce, right? So I've been building a position here on IGV. I believe I have the $80 cost, and that's expiring in April. And I'm building a position here because the IGV, the main software in terms of the distribution, if you go here to IGV, you check IGV here. IGV is over here. It's a if you check out IGV, check out the holdings, you can see that IGV, the number one stock is Microsoft. IGV, number one stock is Microsoft, followed by Palantir, so these are the software names. And remember, we talked about CrowdStrike. So CrowdStrike is just 4%, but these two guys, Microsoft and Palantir, and these are the leading ones, right? And Microsoft have been selling off a lot. So if Microsoft bounces from its sell-off, this is going to catch a bit and this is going to push up. So how I'm playing is I'm playing both. I'm playing Microsoft and I'm playing IGV, right? So with IGV, if you go to the log chart, you're going to see something. If I go to the log chart, you're going to see this here happen. So we have this trend line here from 2008, and it has been holding as support, and it's here now. So I don't think that we are going to break below here. I think we are going to hold. So I will not be surprised to see this hold here and push up this week. So if the market recovers from the whole Iraq scare, Iran news and panic and stuff, I believe that IGV is going to get a bounce. So you see here, IGV got a very big move here last week, and it tells me that the sell-off is over and the bulls want to protect this and buy it up. So as a technician and as a participant in the market, what I look for is that I look for deals in the market. So I go where nobody wants, right? So when something doesn't look good to the ordinary investor or ordinary trader who is not trained and experienced, I go in and pick this up because that's where the opportunity lies, right? I will not go get something that is trading at all-time highs, like how far can it go, right? So over here with this, if I can get even a move from here to here, you see where the this thing is. This is the CN colored line. That's the 9-week EMA. That's a 10% move. A 10% move, this kind of moves, right? You're looking for 10%, 15, maximum 20%. That's it. If you get that move, more than enough to make money, right? You don't need, I'm not looking for this to go to all-time highs. I don't care, right? What I'm looking for is I'm looking for a move from here to here. And if possible, we are also going to get here as well. That's going to give me 20%. 20% move on the equity is hundreds of percent in the option. That's the trade plan. So tomorrow, once the panic is going crazy, I'm going to be adding to this position because I'm going to hold the trade until such a time that a weekly candle closes below here. You see where it's so here. You see where the red line is? That's where my stop loss is, right? Weekly candle or daily candle close below 76 is going to get me out, right? But as long as that has not been done, I'm buying into a position. I just need one snap, one push. That's it. You make a significant return on that. So IGV is something that I'm working on. I have a position in. And then let's look at the Microsoft, right? Microsoft. So Microsoft is one of the main distance of IGV ETF. And look at this. So anytime you have, so this went from here. It went from here, which was a double top. Okay, it went from a double top. And then it so, and it came here, right? And Microsoft, right? Throughout the last 13 years, even dating back to, look at this, 2013, this has not traded below the 200 SMA on the weekly, right? So it's always holding. It's here, like there's the high probability that it's going to hold here. So for me, what I've been doing is that I've been adding into this position here bought time, right? So all the pops, we got this pop. So here, you see here from this one, from here to here, we caught this move in the swing trading service. From here, we bought the 420 calls. It popped here, paid ourselves, take money, and then it came down here and added to the position. And what I'm doing is I'm adding to the position until such a time that it gives us the good move. Because my target is, I know that there's a key support at 375, right? So going into the trade, it's like, okay, I'm willing for it to come here. So I'm going to buy time, right? The initial one we had was March 20th. That one, we took some profit off the table, but I bought another one. The next one that we are looking at is in April, right? So buying time here. So what I'm looking at here is that I'm looking for something like this week. So here we have left shoulder, right shoulder, left shoulder, neck, and then right shoulder here, right? So this is going to form what is called an inverse head and shoulders pattern, and then we are going to get that move. So this is a confirmation of reversal. So these other ones did not confirm confirmation of reversal, right? That's why they sold off here, but this is confirming. As long as we hold here tomorrow, which I think we will do because this is oversold. So we get a candle like this is going to be off to the races, and then boom, right? We're going to get that move. And then this time around, we are, you see here, the 9 and the 5 are calling down. It means that this is ready to go. It's game time, right? As long as we don't get anything catastrophic, right? This is going to move up, and my target is going to be profit targets is going to be here, here, and here, right? My main target is 423, previous highs here. And then once we get here, we try to target the gap fill. Gap fill is far away. I'm not looking for that big move, but I'm looking for at least something that brings us to 445. If I can get there, that's more than enough, right? So you don't need many tickets. You just need to know what ticker you're focusing on. You focus on that, position yourself well, and capitalize on the move, right? And you have to be patient because these types of trade are big picture idea trades, and you have to be patient with it, right? You should be comfortable going into drawdown if need be, but just know your trade plan. You take it easy, start with small size, and then you can add it to it until you hit your full size, right? So the position I'm holding right now is still not full size. this week here, if this can do this, then we can add to the position and we'll ride it up. So I like Microsoft going into the week here. And then also I have some small caps that I'm watching. Before then, let me look at Netflix. So Netflix did well. They canceled that deal that they had. So Netflix is up here, but Netflix is approaching a critical level here. If you look at this, you're going to see that Netflix has always let's go here. Let's use this one. Netflix has always struggled here. And this kind of pop here usually leads to a sell. Which is going to bring it to come in for this gap. Sometimes too, it just does its own thing. With the general market week here, we can get this sell here back into this area to fill the gap. So maybe the initial direction is going to be a sell, and then from that sell, we get that bounce, right? From that sell, we get that bounce to the upside, and then we go up, and this comes to this area, right? But on the flip side, if Netflix is able to gap up above this $98 level, then it's going to push up to the upside and go to the 200. So this here can be a short and a long, depending on how it sets up, but it depends on where price is trading between this candle, this Friday candle, the highs of this Friday candle and above. If price is trading above here, then we can get a gap up into this and you can go long. If price is trading below here, you can look to get a short and come in for this gap, right? Okay, so now let's go to the small cap stocks that I'm watching. One of them is SoFi, right? SoFi. So SoFi is a fan favorite of retail and social media. Everybody likes SoFi, right? Yeah, but over here we have, so if we look at SoFi, this is the IPO lows, right? If you connect the trend line here to this area, which is the 2025 here, January highs here, it comes here, right? So here we broke below this IPO low, which is a significant break, right? And now we are here, which is a critical level. So SoFi needs to find a way to hold this area. If it can go above, like remount this level 1844, then it's going to push up, and then this is going to act as resistance, right? But you can get a sizable bounce to the upside. Also, if I go to come here to SoFi here, let's look at SoFi stock, SOF, SoFi. Look at SoFi stock here. You see this is is it? Okay, I think this is not the chart I was looking for. This one, yeah, there we go. So here, this SoFi, right? So you can draw a parallel channel with SoFi using the weekly time frame, and then this is what you have. So that's where price came. You see? So this is like, really nice, right? So you see a price came here, it bounced here, right? And then it came here. So this is a parallel channel, and what did it put in? One top, two tops, right? And it sold off. So it's back here at this demand zone. It must hold this green box, right? If it holds, it can do a move, and then first target will be remounting here at the 50% range of the parallel channel, and then it can push up, right? So that's what I'm watching for SoFi. And if the market gets its act together and reverses this week, then we are going to get that pop in SoFi and the other small cap names, right? So next one is Ondas. Ondas, right? This stock is interesting how this stock has, oh no, this is not what I'm looking for. Ondas, I think is this one. Yeah, Ondas, yeah. So this stock here, there's something that I was seeing in this stock here, which is interesting, right? So here, let me go to this chart. So you can see that Ondas, every single time it comes to 100 SMA, it holds it, right? So if you go historically, we've seen here that the last time it came here, it held here, it bounced, and it did this move. 1, 2. Here it pierced it, and then it remounted the following day, right? And then here. So this has been a critical support level. So we shall see how the market opens up here with Ondas. But as long as Ondas is able to hold this 100 SMA level on the daily, I believe that is going to make a bounce, and is going to push up, right? It's going to make a bounce and it's going to push up. So I'm going to be watching on that closely this week to trade it, assuming the market holds strong and then the IWM holds strong. So then I'll be watching to see if I can get a break, like a candle like this, that trace, and that's something like this. Whoops, don't do this. So yeah, something like that. And then we get a push to the upside. That's the unders. That's how it is, right? Something like this. So that's why I'm watching for unders, for a push up to the upside. That's the key thing that I'm watching here, for this to push here and hold here, right? So I like this move here to the upside, and it all depends on what happens to the IWM. So IWM is the stock, that is the ETF that tracks the small cap stocks, right? So if that does well, unders will also do well, and it's going to go up. Okay. All right. So let's look at a few tickets that have earnings tomorrow. ASTS has this thing where also it has a pattern recognition play. So you see that every single time it holds the 100 SMA, it pierces it and then bounces, right? If you do the measurement and you find the average of this, usually it pierces it. So here we have this move here, which has been above here. So it could, maybe tomorrow, I think the earnings is on Tuesday or something, it comes here and then holds. And then we are going to get that pop to the upside. So now this is going to depend on the earnings. If the earnings is good, then we can hold here. But if earnings is bad, then it's going to sell off and come to this area where the 200 is, right? So far, it's done a good job to hold the 200 all this while. And we shall see if that still applies this week, right? Then, last but not the least, CrowdStrike. So CrowdStrike has been selling off, again, due to the whole software situation. All software names have been selling off, and CrowdStrike is one of them, cybersecurity name. And I believe that whatever happens, cybersecurity is still going to be relevant, because if without cybersecurity, if you anything to do with apps and technology and stuff, cybersecurity is there. So I'm going to be watching this trend line closely with what's it called? CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike must hold this trend line here as it delivers earnings this week, right? If it fails, then it's going to be a significant seller. But because this has sold off a lot, typically the expectation is low. So if they say something nice, music to the ears of Wall Street, then boom, this stuff is going to take off and go, right? So CrowdStrike is one of them that I'm going to be watching here in the earnings, post earnings. I'm going to trade this after earnings. I'm not going to trade it before earnings, right? So what I'm going to watch here, if you also do, let's do a parallel channel for this CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike. Let's go here. So CrowdStrike. Nice. So let's look at this. So yeah, this is the lows of 2023 when we connect it. Specifically here, we have something like this, right? That's what we see on CrowdStrike. Whoops. Yeah. So CrowdStrike is here. So it's holding here so far. So it must hold. So here this low support. It pierced it, but came back up. Here support. So it must hold this. If it fails, then we are going to come. If the earnings is not good, then we are going to come somewhere here. So whatever it is, I believe that this area here is going to act as a demand zone, and we are going to see CrowdStrike bounce from there. Whoops. Here. Okay. So that's how it is. So yeah. So that's about it for tonight. If you want to, if you join us for the first time, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and then if you want to join our swing trading service or day trading service, you should come here or go to the courses and you sign up. So this weekly rich alert. So we have full disclosure. We have some swings that we swung last week and a couple of weeks ago, which are going to open green here once the market opens. So if you want to join the winning team and catch the moves before they happen, then this is your chance to sign up here. So I'll put the link here in the chat, And so we already have the tickets, the top 3 tickets for the week. We've already captured them in a video and members already have it. And then if you want to trade with me live, options and futures, like if you are a futures trader and you're trading your own account or trading prop firms and you want to pass your challenge and get a payout, this is the service for you here. So we do live day trades every day. Typically our strategy is that we trade the first hour. So most of the time we are done by 10 a.m. Eastern. We start the game plan at 8:45 a.m. and then that's where we talk about the futures game plan, and 9 a.m. we talk about stocks and options. And then once the market opens, everybody knows what to do and we execute together, right? So if you're looking to master day trading of options and futures, this is the service for you. And I'll put it here in the chat so you can check it out and then you can take action. So let me know if you guys have any questions. Done here for tonight. Thanks for tuning in, and we shall see you guys. Let me see if you have any questions. If you have any questions, put it in the chat. I'll be happy to answer. If you have any tickets that you want me to review, you can put it there now so that I can go through it, and I'll be happy to break it down. So let me know if you have any. I'll just wait for a minute here to see if anybody has any tickets or any questions, and then we'll wrap up here. So let's check out, while I'm waiting, let's check out what the futures market is doing. Futures. Check out ES or NQ. So NQ is showing some strength here. It's showing coming up green here. Although it's a gap down, it's coming up green. So we'll see where it opens up tomorrow. So again, as I said, I will not be surprised that by the end of the day on Monday, we go from red to green, right? Red to green. But then it's going to depend on what happens during the day, because sometimes what they do is that they ramp it up into resistance and then they sell, right? So we'll see how things work out here. So here we see that the futures market showing is there's a gap down, is coming up closely, and I will not be surprised if by morning time everything is green, but we shall see. So here we have what's the name? ES futures. That one too is coming up green, but we're still having that downtrend thing. So look at this you can clearly see this is coming down, right? Scaling down. Okay. All right. So let me know if you have any questions. I'm done here for the night, and look forward to trading with the day trading subscribers tomorrow morning, bright and early, as we trade the market together. Looking forward to the market open. So, okay. So if there are no questions, thanks for tuning in. Have a good night. We'll connect again next Sunday. Bye for now. Bye-bye.